appreciate. Greetings, dear Dr. Maltsev. Could we please for a while talk about different lifetime situations connected with attacking, using the knife and a gun? Let's pretend we have such a situation. You have an opponent who tries to attack you standing in the front. He has a knife. So, what are you going to do? When the person standing in front of me takes his knife out, I never have any gun in my hands. Believe me, never. Why is it so? Simply because my gun is hanging on my belt. This is the reason. But there is only one way. When the opposite situation takes place, when I have my gun in my hand, actually when I'm pursuing a criminal. Like just occasionally I fly out of the corner and then behind the corner there is a criminal hiding, handing a knife in his hand. So this situation is possible right in the example described. In any other cases, my gun will be right here. Is it clear? Whilst the knife will be right in the hands of my opponent. Because actually, as for taking your knife out, you do not have to be smart enough. You just take it out and that's it. But whilst when we're talking about the gun, still you require the time to take it out. So when I am already in the situation when I see a knife, I'm facing the double motion function. It means either I should take my gun out or I have to protect myself somehow. Because right in the moment I'm trying to take my gun out, he'll stab me with his knife and I'll die. Just when I'm trying to protect myself, you say I'm backstabbing. At the same time I'm thinking that I have my gun. And I'm thinking, and at the same time I have to protect myself. And at this very moment my opponent is still attacking me. And you see, he's just not moving with his knife, he's killing me. He's killing me right in the moment I'm thinking, oh my god, I have a gun, I have to take it somehow. So whilst I'm thinking, he is killing me. So the most significant thing, the smartest one and the easiest, to know how to defend yourself being barehanded. I mean empty-handed, barehanded. Let's watch how it happens, how it goes. So, you are somewhere and then you see the opponent who is trying to take his knife out. Let's pretend like we're in the street, this is a street fighting situation. Having taken his knife out, my opponent wants to attack me. Let's watch this. So, right now I'm just taking my gun out. Watch this. So, I'm not just trying to grab my gun right at the moment my opponent attacks me with his knife. Why is it so? Because I just won't have any time. He has his knife already, but I have no time. So I should either step back and take my gun out. But there is such a possibility that no one gives me this time to backstab. Because when I am facing an expert, he'll just kill me with his knife. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm meeting my opponent in such a way, in a front way, right when he tries to cut me. Take your hands away, just away, away from me. Why don't I put my hands in front of me? He'll cut them. That's why my hands go down, and then I stop moving sideways. Watch this. And here I can immediately act in such a way, either by pushing and taking his knife away, and then I take my gun. And then with the gun, everything gets okay. So, the first thing to know, don't grab your gun when you see the knife attack. Why is it so? Just when we grab our gun, at this moment we receive the knife stab. It's just like the provocacy. That's why the best idea is just to say, Please don't do this. Then step back and just simply take your gun. Just backstepping and taking out. 2 things to get done. And then, just with the gun, say, put it down. In the other situation, when the attacking has already begun, you do not have to grab your gun as well. Because 2 things met simultaneously may kill us. So, when you see the attack, do like this. From this position you can receive a strike, but you already know it. Why do I take his knife away? Why don't I use any other technical elements? Simply because I pretend ordinary people do not know how to take these technical elements like I can do. So in the majority of cases, because in the majority of books there are certain pieces of advice, of course we should know, like there are classical ways and there are the other ways, the other traditions. Like this one, for example. Mr. Maltsev is showing you right now. So it goes clear that at this moment you just take your gun. Let's try using another grip. Try to attack immediately.
Ну и понятно, ствол быстрее. Давайте еще раз попробуем этим же хватом напасть сразу. Оп, 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 оп. Оп. Как нехорошо-то вышло, а? Когда человек с ножом.
When the person having his knife tries attacking the person with a gun, you know, our contemporaries, they have lots of videos that are uploaded in the internet. Just imagine there is a guy who has a holster. So, you have to take your gun out of your holster and shoot. At the same time, your attacker, standing on the distance of 1.5 meters, tries to stab you. Try to think who may win in this situation. Of course, the person having his knife, because the person trying to protect himself will try to take his gun out. So it happens just like this. He has a gun in a holster, like a policeman, like you know. He is ready and when the arm goes into the holster, he received a good stabbing. You know, it's just like some piece of idiotic situation, because you may never see it in real life. Never. You either having your gun on your holster, on your belt. Even in case your opponent takes your knife, he tries to hide it. I don't see this knife. And then I'll see this stabbing right from this position, like this. Imagine, please, think of the fact, you will not see the knife. You will see the immediate, unpredictable attack, and then one more attack, and then one more. So I don't have any opportunity in this situation, take my gun out of my belt to somewhere else, because my hands have to be ready to get used to protect myself from a stabbing. So when the person tries to grab his gun, let's watch this. Watch, please, what's going on, what's happening. My hand is in my holster, and he has already stabbed me. So, when we pretend our opponent may have a knife, it's so much better either to take several steps back and say, "Hi, honey," and then to take your gun. Because actually we're standing on the distance of 3-4 meters, and we're out of the distance of being stabbed with a knife. But still, this is just only an example of situation, because there are the other situations, like the opposite ones. So, in case we're facing this opposite situation, we should know how to apply knowledge in order to disarm our opponent. You see, the person tries to hit you, step back, and then meet his attack. Like this. Once again. Once again. So, watch my legs. Legs should work in such a way. Then, secondly, be open-minded. You have your hands. So how to use your hands? Together with your legs. You see, this is the same fencing we have demonstrated before. Just the same fencing principle applied. You see, everything's just not as complicated as it may seem from the first sight. Moreover, you know, I haven't used my legs, yeah, like this. Legs are the main component in this situation. You see what I can do with my legs? Just throw away your knife. So, all in all, it's very easy, well, it seems like it's easy, to think that when you have a gun, in this situation, I just take my gun and shoot. As for my opponent, he is pretty sure I'm not going to shoot. Pretty sure. Because all films, all movies give this model. You know, there isn't so few people who are afraid of a gun. People are afraid of knives, but not about the gun. They have never been lying in the hospital being wounded. So I show him my gun and he says, "So come on, what are you going to do?" "Oh, well, try to shoot me." "Okay, let's try doing this." Haven't shot it, you'll immediately get imprisoned. So what should we do in such a situation? It's so much good to shoot right above his head, just to make him calm down for a while, just like according to this trajectory, to make him shut up. You know, the sound really influences the person. He will get frightened of the sound and say, "Come on, stop it, please." There is one more good idea, one more good method, to shoot right between his feet. He just says, "Come on, try to shoot me," and you get shoot him right between his feet. Please just watch. You do not have to shoot his legs. Watch this trajectory to make the bullet go ricochet. And the moment number 3,
Третий момент. Можно
you can just tell him, ask him,
чтобы он положил нож.
just please put your knife down.
Ножик, пожалуйста.
And you know, of course, he may not do this. Then
Тогда вооружен.
watch his hand holding the knife and shoot it here, right beneath the shoulder, here.
Вот сюда попасть. Вот в это плечо.
So, once again, put your knife down. I'm not going to do this. Then you shoot his hand. To make this,
За пистолет
you should
себе. Вот таким
hold
образом.
your gun tightly
Так прямо в
and make one short shooting action to make it go precisely beneath the shoulder.
виде.
Variant number 2. When you're shooting, I mean.
Можете
You may simply shoot right above your head in the air. This means that this may mean to your opponent that so many people may get
призывный
collected together. It's just like
выстрел.
a sign, a signal for the crowd to be united.
Тебя спеленает. Так что
So he realizes that it's so much better to put his knife down like
жить на пол.
right now, so as not to make the other people watch what you're doing.
Ты с ножом
Because
сказала, что ты на сотрудника
you don't want anyone to witness you're trying to attack someone,
бездна.
like you're trying to attack the policeman or the other people holding your knife. It's so much better to be, let me say, catched at the moment of criminal attack without your knife. So it's so much better just to throw away your knife,
А ты на корточке.
be, let me say, open-handed and wait until the other people, like the representatives of authorities, may come. But the majority of people
Людей крутых. Они
try to, I don't know why, try to do like this, just like to make their opponent lean against the wall,
делают вот так.
or they just start shouting and screaming, just like, put your knife down! Please,
Обратите внимание,
pay your attention towards the fact that all those things are simply described at any simple books about self-defense. So people haven't read lots of these self-defense books, who have spent lots of their time trying to practice these elements, they will try to do these stupid things. He just doesn't want to struggle. He watches you trying to shoot, put your knife down, and then they use these simple technical elements and get your gun away from you. You're screaming, but you never have your gun in your hands. So the main idea lies in the fact that please do not do this. Do not put your opponent, do not make him get leaned against the wall. Please just ask him to sit down. Yeah, like this, just to sit down.
не может быть достаточно.
From this position, maybe he can just jump, but it's impossible to harm you because the distance is quite big. And he realizes that having jumped, he will receive a bullet in his head. Moreover, when you see that one person is standing above the other, he feels the feeling of superiority. He knows that in case he is doing something wrong, he may receive a good pushing stab with the gun or the pistol. So in such position, it's so much better not to move, but just to wait until the other people may come. I mean, the representatives of the policemen, authorities, and something like this. Let's pretend you're having a knife in your pocket, whilst your opponent has a gun. What are we going to do? Let's pretend I have a knife and my assistant has a gun. Let's pretend this situation. My assistant is a criminal, he's a well-trained criminal, and I'm just having a knife. So the first thing I'm going to do,
Первое,
I'm not going to show him I have my knife with me. This is the first thing.
что нож. Это первое.
Secondly,
Я, наверное,
probably I will try
приблизиться как
to come as close as just possible, of course, in case he
ну, представь,
gives me this opportunity. So let's pretend we have such a distance. I hide my knife, whilst my criminal assistant is already standing with his gun. This is the worst situation, but still, let's watch what we can do. I step sideways,
он на меня переводит пистолет.
he tries to aim at me, and right at this moment, I stab him with my knife. Once again.
Давайте дальше.
Hello.
Смотрите. Оп.
Sideways step, and I'm already here.
Видите?
He has the second hand. So he will try to use it
Руку.
to release my hand, and right at this moment he receives the other stabbing strikes.
Видите? Что будет происходить?
That's what's going to happen.
Видите?
That's what's going on. I'm showing everything slowly just to make you see what's going on.
Никакого толку
Because
от занятия.
too high speed may not provide us of the results.
Немного
So,
греческого.
several pieces, several steps of Greek tradition. That's what Dr. Maltsev is showing you right now. It's really complicated for me to get this knife go inside
Ну, давайте вот так хотя бы. Просто
because, you know, it's not effective. And you will see right now the reason I'm saying that. Because my opponent may see the handle of my knife.
если
So even in case, let's pretend, I'll try to stab my opponent trying to take my knife right out of the holster, let's try watching what may happen. It may seem to you that my assistant may have enough time to shoot me. Let's verify this situation. Let's try doing this. You see, he will have no time to shoot me.
видите? Мимо.
In case
Все-таки буду
I'm still standing in the distance of 1.5 meters in front of my opponent, and here I have my knife,
то
then
я попробую его достать.
I'll try to take it out and stab the hand of my opponent.
Он, конечно, будет переводить
Of
пистолет.
course, he will try moving his hand with the gun. Then I'll still make one more attempt of stabbing his hand.
Где же
And here, I'll try to take out the gun out of his cut hand, because you see, it's cut twice. He cannot use his hand. He has wounds, knife wounds. Of course, in case he tries to shoot my head, you see, this is the simplest thing for me, because I'm just making one step aside, and then I put as a wedge my palm, and he cannot reach my head. Here, I'm trying to step away from the shooting line. You see the way I'm trying to do this? There is no way for him to shoot me once again, and then I'm just simply disarming him. I'm not going to show you the technical elements helping you to beat the gun out of your opponent's hands, and when the gun getting beaten just spreads into millions of smallest pieces, because we do not require this information. Let's try working with a Greek type of grip. So here, everything's quite simple. I just come in here. You see, watch please. I'm touching the fingers of my opponent with the wedge of my knife, and then he receives a good cutting movement. I'm slashing his throat, then I'm making him go down, because actually I have already slashed his hand. So let's pretend your opponent attacks you back and then puts his knife to your throat. What are you going to do in this situation? Let's watch this. You see, everything's honest. Try to take me. You see, in case he's standing like this, and he can slash my throat at any moment, there is only one motion to be taken. Watch it, please. It's just like you're using a reverse rotation movement. Something else? Let's try using a gun. Like this, yeah? Okay, you know, no one uses this situation because actually there is always some sort of distance. So that's what I'm doing. You know, there are people who are just trying to go backwards and just watch my opponent. Let's pretend such a situation when the opponent tries to attack you around the corner. So let's pretend here we have some sort of corner. I'm just walking and you're trying to attack me around the corner, like this. Everything's just simple here. He has only one knife. His knife is a pivot. He has one pivot. I have three. So I'm using my three pivots against his one. In case he comes around the corner, still he cannot use his legs. And right at the moment he tries to use his gun, I'm just moving sideways. Then several more motions. Here, 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 and here. You know, there are many varieties. It only seems to you just like I'm waving with my hands and my strikes, my blows are not too powerful. It just seems to you. Because, you know, people who are thinking about those facts, I can easily invite them here and demonstrate the opposite. Because actually there are such a powerful blows when you strike the opponent's shoulder and then he has a sore throat or a badly wounded head. Let me provide you such a lifetime example. Yesterday I was instructing one of my friends living in the USA, and he asked me such a question. How should he use his stick to beat away the stick of his opponent? So, you know, it's just like a stick versus a stick. And I've given him one technical element, and this technical element was applied towards my friend, and he received such a stick strike that his hand was really sick. He was suffering from the pain. Let's pretend two people are attacking you simultaneously. The first attack comes from the front, the second criminal attacks you back. The one has a knife, the second has a gun. What are you going to do in such a situation? Once again, we're in the street, so maybe he may tell me, hello, give me your money. That's what I'm doing. First and second motions. You see?
Тут труп.
And then disarming, shooting, and game over. Like this.
Да.
Let's do it once again.
Пожалуйста.
Give me your money.
Что?
So let's practice the vice versa situation, the opposite situation. The front attacker uses the knife and say, "Give me your money." And that's what Mr. Maltsev is doing. Such a small piece of demonstration. You know, I'm just using the person with a knife, just like he is protecting me.
Нож в башку.
I'm just using a second criminal like a bulletproof vest. You see?
И так далее.
And then my second attacker sees the double target and he doesn't know which target to attack.